time for Wednesday update. It is surgery day +5, and I'm out in the living room. Just had some lunch, and my day started early today because I got a decent night's start of sleep, and then woke up at about 4 and was coughing and choking a little bit and stuff, and so I just decided to get up and came and sat out here and watched a little Mandalorian and had some leftover pizza for breakfast and things, and then went for a first walk, went back and took a little nap, and then Colton, who is the PA for Dr. Sales, and was in my surgery and has been in my appointments and things, called this morning about just the checkup and the questions that I'd sent to them via their message service yesterday. And so everything very, very positive. He talked in more detail about the surgery, that the compression of the spinal cord and the nerve roots was worse than they thought from the MRIs, and so took a little bit more work to do that, and that the offset was a little more, so it just took work to be able to put me back together, right? But that everything was very very pleasing to the way it all worked out. It just was a little different than the expectation going in, but they were all prepared for that. So it was good to just hear him talk about that a little bit and be able to answer a couple of questions. He talked about the questions that I had sent. The biggest one was about this choking and breathing thing that I've been having with a lot of mucus and phlegm and things, and that is in fact from the anesthesia. It's very common for that to happen with it just loosening up a lot of things that were already in your lungs, and so you cough that stuff up. And since it's improving, he really encouraged me to just kind of keep coughing and let that happen, because it's good for me overall to just get that junk out of my lungs. And so that's kind of the game plan. If it gets really troublesome, I can use Mucinex, but all in all, it's best just to let it clear itself out, and things are definitely better with that. The worst night was Sunday night, and since then it is improving. So that's the game plan with that. And then otherwise, he was really happy with my walking, a little ahead of schedule with that, but just encouraged me to kind of do what I've been doing, which is kind of walk and stay out of the pain realm, keep it to where it's just maybe uncomfortable or makes me a little sore, but not to where it gets painful. And if it gets to a point where it's painful, to back off a bit. And so he was really happy with kind of my plan, which has been to do 2 little bit shorter walks instead of 1 longer walk. And so I've already done that today. I've done 2 to try to beat the rain before it gets really coming down. So did a nice dry walk first thing in the morning, and another one with just a little bit of rain right before lunch. So he basically just said, all the guidelines are just that. They're generalities, they're guidelines, but that if I do what I'm doing and I have a good perception of what is pain and what is sore, and just listen to my body, that I'll definitely exceed the mile goal probably a long time before the 4-week mark when they want you there. So and I was at 0.37 miles yesterday over the course of 2 walks, so already quite a ways ahead of schedule. did the 2 walks today, and I haven't gone back and looked at my report to see where that's at, but probably pretty similar to yesterday. So that, just some tips about the dressing. He was really happy with the pictures that I sent. That he was happy with the fact that the soreness seems to have plateaued. I would say maybe even started to turn the corner, maybe not quite as sore, certainly not worse. And so at the very least, it's plateaued and maybe even starting to get a little better. That I'm really happy with the pain level. Had some kind of numbness in my lower right leg and my right foot, but it's completely different than what I had before. So described that to him, and he said that was actually encouraging, both from that I was being good about describing how it feels. It feels more, instead of like tingly numbness like it was before, it's almost like I have a giant callus on my foot that's like the whole right side of my foot, where it's just kind of dead, but it's not tingly. It doesn't feel numb. It feels like heavy, dead, strange kind of feeling, like it just has a gigantic callus on it. And so that's actually good. That it's totally to be expected that there would be some numbness, and that I'm perceiving it differently is positive. Said not to be worried if I get some stretches where I have pain in my legs. That is all completely gone. Right now, there's no pain in my legs. There's no tingly numbness anymore at all. That's all totally gone. But he said, don't be concerned if that kind of comes and goes some during the first month. That this period of time, your body just knows it's been through a trauma. But it doesn't realize that it was a healing trauma. It just is, it's healing and recovering from a trauma. And so there's going to be some periods of swelling. There's going to be some periods of just where the healing process might cause some pains and things. And that, excuse me, they'll come and go, and they're nothing to be concerned about. So, that, and the 4-week appointment, a little bit of clarification about that, in that, there's a pretty good chance that at that time they look at the x-ray, they talk to me and kind of see a whole situation, how everything is going. And that there will be an increase in activity allowed, and that there may be more aggressive therapy and things at that point, but that it doesn't necessarily guarantee that it's going to be back to work at 4 weeks. Could be, and I'm going to do everything I can control to make that happen. But the reality is that it's that is really based on how the bone growth and the bone healing goes. And the biggest thing that I can do to help that is just stay on my walking. That is the best thing for me. Is the walking promotes blood flow, and it promotes healing, and it also is good just for the body being up and being used, but not being abused. It's just kind of like, what can I do to participate as fully as possible in a good recovery? And he said, it's just right now, it's about doing my walking and following the BLTs, which is the no bending, no lifting, no twisting, and limits on sitting. So So that's my job for the month, is to just keep up on that stuff. And but feeling really good, and so excited that I'm going to be able to be a good participant in Christmas, and so that's exciting. When the schedule was originally, or the surgery was originally scheduled for the 18th, I was a little concerned about what Christmas might be like, but heck, even if Christmas was this Saturday, I think I'd be pretty participatory. But by next Saturday, I think that things will be fine. And so the next big thing for me is after tomorrow, technically, so either Friday or Saturday, I can start riding in a car again for short distances, short trips. So be nice to be able to just be a little bit mobile. I'm looking forward to having that option. I'm not entirely sure I'm looking forward to actually doing it. We'll just see. But right now, it'd be nice to just ride with Michelle if she goes and gets a coffee or something like that. And right now that's not an option. That'll become an option. So that's the next milestone, is for that to kick in on Friday, Saturday. So, all right, well, we'll touch back in tomorrow. This ended up being a little longer than I anticipated. So hope everybody's doing well, and we will talk to you soon. Hello, this is Brian, and just going to give you a real quick Thursday update. Just generally been a good day. Got up early and had some breakfast, had a first walk, took a little nap, had some friends drop by for some outdoor visit and socially distanced cookie exchange and things. So that was really nice to get to see them. And now just resting up, gonna have dinner soon. But nothing of real note to tell you about today. Just another good day in the healing process. So we'll see you tomorrow. Hello. It is Friday, which means it is surgery plus 7. So officially 1 week now since the surgery. You're on my walk with me today. This is my 3rd outdoor walk of the day. So I'm kind of proud of that, because when I'm finished with this walk, I will have crossed over a mile for the day. And that is the goal for 4 weeks after surgery. And I'm hitting it at 1 week after the surgery. So I feel kind of good about that. Still staying within the restrictions. Not walking into pain. A little discomfort, but no pain. And I am keeping all walks under 20 minutes. All physical activity is supposed to stay under 20 minutes right now, so that just to avoid the stress on the fusion and things. Still use my walker here, but now it's just kind of a safety measure. I'm not putting any weight on it. So I'm really trying to do the walking completely on my own. But as you may recall, when I first started doing these walks, I was doing 3 laps up and down our street. That was my goal that I thought I could handle. It was too much. And so then I cut back to 2, but was doing it twice a day. And then I've been working those up just a little bit at a time, to where it was 2 1/4 and then 2 1/2. And then yesterday was my first day of making it 3 full laps twice. And now today, it will be 3 full laps, plus just a touch more to get myself to the mile on this 3rd walk 3 times. So that is good news as far as I'm concerned. Nothing down my legs at all as far as pain. A little bit of numbness, but it is completely different than the numbness that I had before. And doctor actually sees that as a good thing. So just trying to be a very active participant in my recovery. This is the one thing that I can do, is the walking. And if I'm, walking a mile now, I don't think that means that I'm going to be walking 4 miles by the time my 4-week appointment comes along, but I should comfortably be walking 2.5 anyway, and that should really help with the things they're looking to help with to promote the fusion, the healing of the bones together. And that's the big determining factor as far as getting to have restrictions lifted at that 4-week appointment. As long as I'm doing the things I'm supposed to do, then that's great. And it won't preclude anything, but everything is about how that bone is healing. And the one thing that I can do to promote that, by the way, I have a walking partner that walks along with me, just kind of stays out at distance a little bit and walks my walk with me most times. So at any rate, as long as I'm doing these things that get the heart pumping a little bit and the blood flow, but not putting undue stress on the fusion, then I'm being as full a participant as I can be. And then it's just a matter of how quickly that bone healing happens. A little bit of coughing and choking is my probably most disruptive thing I have right now, and excuse me, and it's kind of annoying, but it's just part of the process. And excuse me. It is improving, definitely. So, but it's just part of the gunk that gets kicked up in the lungs. So I'm gonna stop here for a moment and have a quick sit on the walker just right in front of the house. So, and here comes Juno. So that's my news for today. Other than, things are just really exceptional for 1 week after. My back pain is getting a little incrementally better each day, and it was dramatically better right after surgery. So, it got worse Sunday after the painkillers from the IV painkillers wore off, but then, once that was the real plateau happened, since then it's gotten incrementally better each day. The soreness kind of plateaued Monday, Tuesday time frame, and I would say it's starting to improve now as well. So that's a great sign. The incision is still looking really good. The bruising doesn't look a tremendous amount different day to day. If you look at it a couple of days apart, you can see some difference, but that is healing. The only real issue I'm having is that my skin is getting kind of a rash from the tape that holds my dressing on. So that's an annoyance. We're going to try a different kind of tape tonight because we only had to use the surgical supplies they gave us for a week. We're now at that point, so we're going to experiment a little bit with some different tape and see if maybe that helps on that side. But I'm just extraordinarily happy with where things are at. I don't think I could have imagined I would be at this point right now. And so, for the next 3 weeks, it's going to be about just keeping up with the walking, keeping away from the BLTs, the things that I'm not supposed to be doing, bending, lifting, twisting, excessive sitting. Today will be the first day that I get to take a car ride. That moratorium came off after 7 days. They have to stay really short right now. But we're actually I'm just going to ride with Michelle into Gresham, and we're going to grab a hamburger and bring it home. And so just something to get out of the house and away from this block for a few minutes after she gets home. She's at the grocery store. So that's where things are at after a week. And we'll keep checking in every day. Probably most of them will be pretty short, and then we'll do a little more extensive one once or twice a week and get you fully up to date. There really aren't any landmarks of great significance until that appointment on January 12th. And you know, if the bone is solid at that point, fantastic. Then that puts the ball in motion to get back to work and really have a lot of restrictions lifted. And if it's not quite healed yet, it should still get a fair number of restrictions lifted and just get me another step closer to back to work. So, all right, well, everybody have a great weekend. And not only is it 1 week from surgery, it's 1 week until Christmas. So we're doing our final prep for that stuff, and we will talk to you soon.